This is the Friday, July 10th, 2020 edition of the Dark Illumination Report podcast. And on today's show, I'm going to answer the question as to whether there's enough diabolists to support an organization and what my opinions are about that.
This is a Dark Illumination Report Extra with RJ Womack.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining me for this episode of the podcast. As always, I'm your host, Brother Nero, RJ Womack, and this is the Dark Illumination Report podcast, where we try to promote the religious worship of Satan and demons as a serious faith and way of life. On today's episode, I'm going to be answering the question as to whether I think there's enough diabolists to support the existence of a organization or a satanic order or whatever. And the answer to that question is yes, absolutely, I do. I think there's enough people that are interested in the ministry, interested in being a part of an organization, that it will support the existence of an organization. The problem is that when people get interested in an organization, what happens is they get disappointed. They get disappointed by the fact that the leadership is not motivated by a genuine desire to serve Satan most of the time. Unfortunately, most people set up the organizations they set up either for money or for fame or for power or whatever their desire is, and they use the people in the organization to promote themselves or to promote their products or whatever it is they're trying to do, rather than promoting the religious worship of Satan. And what I'm trying to do is exactly the opposite. I mean, okay, if you become a public figure on any level, even a basic level, I mean, look at YouTube, right? If you become popular or well-known in a particular subject, you're going to have some degree of notoriety or fame, if you want to call it that. And so that comes along with it, but that shouldn't be the end goal. And so my goal here is to establish a ministry and eventually a religious order that is focused on the religious worship of Satan and focused on trying to develop a genuine satanic priesthood that's about serving the community. I had a talk with somebody today, one of the listeners on Skype, that asked me, they said, or I basically told them that my whole idea behind this ministry is to create a generational priesthood, a generational devotional religious order. And I want to see it be an environment where people feel comfortable bringing their children and women feel comfortable raising their children in diabolism, so that we can have future generations of Satanists. And the way you do that is by running a legitimate organization that's not about money, not about, trying to get laid, and trying to focus on the religious purpose, trying to focus on actually devoting yourself to living a life of religious service. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say there's anything wrong with getting involved in relationships or trying to develop relationships or even having sex. What I'm saying is, if that's your focus, you're going to drive people away. So it's very important that the priesthood of an organization like this be dedicated and devoted to the idea of serving the people and serving the religion and serving the gods. Because if they're not, all that's going to happen is you're going to drive people away. Look at how many supposed satanic groups have started up just to dissolve because the leaders have a big ego, or they think their shit doesn't stink. And that's what happens. So people come into these organizations and these groups with the hope that it will be something real, that it will be something where they can find a home, where they can find a place where they can associate with people that are like them. But unfortunately, what happens for most of them is they get disillusioned by the fact that the leaders are all about themselves. So I'm trying really hard to create an environment eventually where people feel comfortable. And that's one of the reasons why I encourage female Satanists or people that are interested in this path, interested in doing the religious research, female diabolists, to contact me if you're interested in the ministry. Because I honestly believe, and this is very important, I want to make this very clear, I believe that in order for a diabolistic tradition to survive, in order for us to have a truly religious tradition that's devoted to Satan and have it survive, it requires mothers, it requires women, Because if you look at any religious tradition, whether it's Judaism, whether it's Islam, whether it's Christianity, it's not the fathers that instilled the religious principles in their children. It's the mothers. It's the mothers that raise their children to believe in the principles of the religion. It's the mothers that usually do the potluck dinners and the social gatherings at a religious organization. The fathers will do stuff, yeah, but it's the mothers that are the heart of the thing that keep the organization running. That's one of the reasons why I'm so adamant about this idea that you have to create an environment where women feel comfortable. And I'm not saying that they should be coddled or that we should treat them different or extra special. I mean, we should treat them like you would treat anybody. But what I mean by that is you have to give them an environment where they feel comfortable to bring their children. You have to give them an environment where the men act like men instead of, horny little boys that think only with their dick, that kind of thing. They have to feel like they're respected, at least, and the men act like men. You know what I'm saying? So if we want to succeed, if we want our religion to survive, if we want the tradition to survive, and that goes for any tradition, any religious tradition, not just diabolism, we have to think about these things. We have to think about the bigger picture. We have to think about the future of our religion. We have to think about doing what is best for the religion, not just about what is best for ourselves. And that's the problem with Satanism. It's all about what I want to do, what I think, what I feel. It's all about me. It's never about Satan. And that's because we've been influenced by atheism instead of actual religious Satanism. And it's time that we start living our lives according to our own principles, not according to LaVeyan ideas or the Satanic Temple's ideas, because their beliefs are not our religion. They are not part of our religion. They should have no real influence on our religion because they don't know the first thing about it. They wouldn't know Satan if he bit them on the ass. I mean, they wouldn't even realize it. They'd say, that wasn't Satan, that was my imagination. It was part of my psyche, or part of my higher self, or whatever the hell they would say. So, I mean, it's just stupid. The whole atheistic thing is stupid. But that's another subject, and I've been into that many times, so we won't talk about that. But anyway, the point is, guys, I think there are a lot of people that want to be a part of a real organization, that want to be a part of something real. But in order for people to be a part of that, you have to give them an environment that is positive, that makes them stronger, that makes them better, that encourages them to improve themselves, that encourages them to be better practitioners, better servants of Satan, better people just in general for themselves. You have to encourage them. You have to give them a positive environment. You can't create an environment where people feel unsafe or where they feel like they have to question whether somebody's going to stab them in the back. And unfortunately, most satanic groups and most satanic organizations, you're left with the feeling that, somebody could stab you in the back at any time, that you can't trust the people you're involved in a coven with. So if we want to have any chance of building a sustainable tradition, we have to change that. We have to create a better environment. We have to change our approach, and we have to start showing each other a little respect and actually create an environment where brotherhood and one's word actually matters, and where when you make a pact with Satan and when you make a pact with the demons, it actually means something. And when you say brother or sister, it actually means that you're going to treat that person like a brother or sister. Unfortunately, for most people in this religion, saying brother or sister is something that they just pay lip service to. It's not something that they actually believe in. That's why I won't really let anyone call me brother, when they talk to me personally on Skype or something like that. Now, they can call me Brother Nero. It's more of a title than it is actually calling me brother. But if somebody says, oh, brother, I want to talk to you about this. Oh, brother, I want to talk to you about that. I don't like that, because I've learned over the years that all that brother stuff doesn't mean shit. It's just a bunch of talk. And I'm not going to allow somebody to call me brother this or brother that until they actually earn that and show me that they mean it. I won't call somebody brother or sister. You will never see me say brother or sister, let me help you, brother or sister, let me do this. Because I will not call somebody a brother or a sister until I actually treat them like a brother or sister, until I view them like a brother or sister. Now, some of the people in England, I call them brother or sister. I called them sister or whatever. But the point is, they've earned it. I've known them for 20 years. They've earned that respect, their family. That's the difference. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. I hope it helps. I hope it gives you a little insight. Hope I haven't rambled on too much, and hope I haven't been too preachy, but I'm just trying to give you an idea of what I'm trying to achieve.
Thank you for listening to the Dark Illumination Report podcast. For the latest news headlines, show information, and more, go to rjwomack.com. That's rjwomack.com.